8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to the look ahead. There might be a problem. No, there they are. Thank God for that. I thought there was a problem with comments for a second, but there's not. It's just me being silly. I'm expecting Gary at some point. That's why the headphones are on. He might not turn up. I don't know, but he says he'll be here, so we'll just pick up his wife. So he might be a bit late. But we've got a massive game tomorrow night. There's a few games already playing in the Champions League tonight to settle some groups. But tomorrow it's all about Armageddon. It's all about beating AC Milan and getting our own back for selling us Tonali and causing us havoc. But hey, these things happen in football, don't they? We'll go into the chat. We've got hello from Lee. Hello, Lee. Even all from Leslie. Even all from Lee. Even all from Roger. Please like and subscribe and share to your socials to help the channel grow. That would be massively helpful, guys. If you can just hit that thumbs up, share, you know, all that sort of stuff. It really does make a big difference. If people see the channel being talked about, more people might come back and watch it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Evening, everyone. Evening, Gary. Roger, Gary, Baz. Evening, Gary. Thumbs up to you as well, pal. Happy birthday, Solano. Yes, I was going to bring that up a little bit later on, Lee, but well done. It's Solano's birthday today. Some absolute cracking stats. Yay! How was Gary?
I am not too bad. Bit late because had to sort something out, but I've sorted now. So.
Oh, good, mate. So I just said happy birthday to Solano. 315 appearances, 126 goals and assists. One of the best imports we've ever bought, to be completely honest with you. Probably is the best import we've probably ever bought.
Oh, definitely one of them.
I can't think of anyone better as an import.
Yeah.
With that kind of output.
Rob, but he wasn't as good as Nobby. Ginola, no, not for me.
He's almost a goal or assist in 1 in 3 games, isn't he? That is quality.
Oh, so, he was. I mean, for how much he cost and all, he was about 2.5 million, wasn't he? He was just like, honestly, what a player.
Peanuts twice because we sold him and bought him back.
What a player.
Yeah, exactly. So happy birthday to him. Even Roger Lee, Roger, Gary. Hey, Roger and Les. And Gary says, Leslie. Whew. Right, we're through all that. Right, don't forget, guys, hit the thumbs up, subscribe button. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diet Crow. The link is in the description below. It's 20% off for all viewers. They've got some amazing stuff. Get it ordered before Christmas and make someone's Christmas by giving them something Newcastle United related by a lovely family-run company. Great draw for the women in the FA Cup. They've got Man United away. I love that. I absolutely love that. They'll probably beat us, but it's just nice that they're getting into the big leagues now.
It's showing you how far the women have come, mate. I mean, you can go on about the change in the men's game, but the women's game since the new owners have come in, it's just been like
superb,
fantastic.
Absolutely
good
superb.
To see. It benefits the club. Was having a good women team as well. So, you know what it is? Newcastle will probably take a good following down there for that game.
Oh, they definitely will.
Yeah, very good following. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Hats off to War Flags. They put up 4,000 flags, I think, black and white flags for the match to replenish the ones that have been damaged. If you've got a flag, please wave it. If you haven't got a scarf, wave your scarf and forget about the flag. That's the idea. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. Why is Ibrahimovic on the front of my thumbnail? Do you know
Apart
why?
from being an ex-Milan player, I'm not quite sure.
You don't know the news then. So Ibrahimovic has now gone back to AC Milan as an upstairs. He's
Is he?
something. Yeah. That's why Ibrahimovic is up. Well, obviously, he's an amazing player as well. Another reason why I put him on there. But he's actually back at AC Milan. I think he's going to be an advisor to the president or something like that of the club. So he's in an advisory role. What do you make of that? Advisor. There we say. Paul knows
Advisor.
about it.
So what does he do? Just like advice on what to
Yeah,
run
Mr.
Milan or
President,
something?
I watched the game. It wasn't Ibrahimovic style. It was shit.
You know what I mean? It's like advisor to. Is it like a Stavely role? Is it, or is it like a Dan Ashworth role or something?
No idea. Could be anything for all we know. All I know is it says advisory role. So he could be advising on players, maybe, potentially.
Yeah. So that's like Dan Ashworth,
Could be. Nobody knows. Only Zlatan knows.
Funny one.
What will he say? Score more goals than the other team. That's what Kevin Keegan used to say, and look how well he did. But yeah, so Zlatan is back at AC Milan. He's gone back home. Obviously, he was there for a long time. Absolute phenomenal player. One of my favourites. I always wish we had him for a season or something, but there we go. Right out the Allardyce handbook, definitely. Right. Obviously, the press conference happened. Eddie Howe has been very, very tight-lipped. And they said the senior advisor to president could be anything. Exactly. It could be anything. It could just be just a boost to the players to seeing Zlatan back at the club, and, you know, as if that really helps, I don't know. But Eddie Howe in his press conference, being under the lights here in the UEFA Champions League, it's always very special. We have something to play for, something to gain, to be here with some kind of destiny in our hands. European football still in our hands. I think we would have taken that at the start of the group. We could control our performance tomorrow, and we'll make sure we give everything we can to win. He's going all out for it, isn't he?
Oh, but there we do. I mean, look, I'm expecting to see the real Newcastle tomorrow. We haven't seen it by 2 games. We're at home. Seem to be a different animal at home. And I think Eddie can probably sense that from the players as well. That I think, you know what it is, in a funny way, sometimes 2 bad defeats can give you a bit of a kick up the arse when you come to a big game. And sometimes when you're on form and you're playing well, you're feeling good, but you can get a bit complacent because you think you're this. And then, so it's, by the looks, I mean, I've heard Eddie's interviews for the Tottenham and Everton games as well. And Eddie's always saying we'll be ready, this, that, and the other. But that one today, he seemed a bit more enthusiastic when he was talking to me. And I think somebody mentioned injuries to him as well in his press conference, and he just played stuff off. Yeah, and but he did you notice he was smiling when he said it? That didn't look like a man to me who thought
under pressure.
We've got like loads of injuries that aren't gonna come and all that, but I
love this side of things. I love it because other players, someone like Steve Busnell, that just said, "Oh yeah, we got this one back, this one back, this one back. This is how we're going to play. This is our tactics." Eddie Howe says, "Nah, don't know. We'll see." And I love that because it makes us think. It makes the opposition think. You don't know what they're going to be up against. You don't know who's going to be starting. You know, at one time we could pick our starting 11. Now, when the squad comes back, we're all overthinking things sometimes or underthinking things because we don't know what he's going to do.
Well, I think I've said this to you a few times this season. Remember last season, we used to be able to pick the starting 11 when we used to put it on. We always knew what the starting 11 was. This time, I don't think I've ever got it right all season. I don't think I've got the lineup right once.
I've got it right the last few times because of the
injuries. Apart from the injuries thing.
The injuries, yes, it's very difficult. And to be honest with you,
it's difficult. It's been difficult. I mean, I remember the Man City game at home in the Cup. I couldn't be more wrong with the lineup I picked. Nobody would have picked the lineup that he picked. And it was it's but it I mean, look, I had my reservations about the Tottenham game. I wasn't overly confident in the Everton game. I'm feeling good for tomorrow. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I am feeling quite confident. And
That's a great comment, that one. Any more injuries and we'll start seeing trialist 1, trialist 2.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's like, obviously we've never seen an injury crisis like it.
No,
But touch wood, things seem to be changing a bit. Some players seem to be coming back quicker than they thought as well. And obviously, hopefully, we'll see a few more faces tomorrow that we haven't seen for a few weeks. And be good to see them because I don't care who it is, we just need players back. We need them back. And we need them on the bench. We need options on the bench. And I don't know if anybody knows, I don't know if you were going to mention it, but apparently Milan are in a bit of a injury crisis themselves at the minute.
Yeah, we'll come to all that when we talk about lineups. I'll just address this one quickly. Lee, we'll be talking about that on Thursday night. I've hopefully got Alice, the Man United fan, on, who's very, very knowledgeable about our club. Harry from Spurs, and maybe somebody else hopefully lined up to do the left-back show on Thursday, so that's going to be good. Evening, Graham. The other thing that Eddie Howe said, which I love it, we are desperate to stay in this competition first and foremost. Our intention is to do everything we can to try and win the match. We work so hard to get in this position in the first place. We give everything last year, try to achieve this level of football. We do not want to give it away lightly. Now, I love that because if you ask fans what's more important, the league, the Carabao Cup, the Champions League, we'll all agree right now at the moment with all the injuries we've got, bin the cups and just concentrate on the league because we need to qualify for the Champions League next season. You know, but we're struggling to do that. So I love what he's come out and said here because Wednesday night, if we win, which I think we will, you know, that puts massive pressure on PSG. They're going to Dortmund, and that's a hard place to go and win because they have to win. If we win. So I love it how he's thinking, let's put pressure on them. Let's go for it.
All without it, I'm expecting Newcastle to go from minute one at them. And who was it? Alan Brazil. I heard Alan Brazil a couple of weeks ago. He was saying that he thinks Newcastle will beat Milan because he says he's watched Milan a few times this season and he hasn't been impressed. And he says that he thinks they're a bit lightweight. He says they've got some very good individual players, but he says this is not the AC Milan that you're used to, put it that way. But as for PSG, look, I've said this time and again, Dortmund will prefer us to get through to the next stage over PSG.
Well, not just that. They want to finish top of the group.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, Dortmund will look at, right, we've beat Newcastle twice, we can beat them again. But we could seriously knock PSG out of the Champions League here and Mbappe out of the Champions League.
Exactly.
That is a motivation and a half for that football club. That's more motivation than trying to keep us in it. And it's... look, you'll have to refresh my memory. Is a draw fine? Dortmund PSG. Well, a draw as long as we win.
As long as we win.
Draw. Yeah. I just can't. I mean, touch wood. I can't see PSG beating Dortmund in Dortmund. Now, I could be wrong, but I know they got beat at the weekend, Dortmund. But I just can't see it. I've watched PSG twice now. And yeah, they've got some great individual players, but they haven't got the steel about them. They haven't got, and Dortmund have got that in abundance. So I'm quietly confident that we could actually do it. I'm quietly confident.
Callum Wilson's come out and said, I feel I'm in a very good place right now. Callum Wilson says he's delighted to be back for Newcastle. He's repairs for AC Milan in the Champions League. And he's basically said we will leave blood, sweat and tears out there tomorrow for the whole team. It's about having no regrets, and I'm ready to start. I was born ready. Shame he can't stay fit.
No.
I love it when he comes out and says these quotes like, I feel in great shape. Yeah. I feel I'm ready for anything.
I know.
Later, he's injured again. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, it's Callum Wilson's a very, very frustrating footballer because he's clearly a talented foot player. And he is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best finishers in the Premier League.
Yep.
But his injuries are, I mean, look, you can see it now. We play Sunderland, and he's not going to make the game because he's in. You can see it now, can't you? And it's just like it's. But and I tell you what, mate, because I don't know if Milan know like the lineups and all that. I mean, will Wilson start tomorrow? I don't know.
We're going to come to all that.
Yeah. But anyway.
AC Milan coach on Sandro Tonali's gambling addiction. I had no idea. He's always been a nice, sweet, educated professional. I have an open relationship with my players, but everything they do in their private lives, we do not know deep down. Like I say, just rolling on about Sandro Tonali all the time. If you've got a gambling addiction or any kind of addiction, you hide it.
Oh,
no one knows about it. So, did the club know about it before they sold him? I'd find it very difficult if they did, because it would be in the press. There's no way they could sneak that under the radar and sell a player. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Someone would have known about it, and someone would have brought it to light personally.
Yeah, it's God, honestly. I had me reservations at the time when Tonali got suspended that Milan knew about it. I thought it might have been possible. Hence why they got rid of him for a good fee. But then I started thinking, you're right, if you have got an addiction, why do you tell anybody what that addiction is?
Exactly.
And you don't do it. And it's clear that what happened was Tonali there was a footballer come out to practically save his own skin, basically, and basically said, put Tonali under it. Yeah, and that's how they found out. And Newcastle, I remember at the time saying, did Jamie Carragher, for example, blaming Newcastle? I mean, how were Newcastle now? I mean, seriously, come on. Like, do you know what it is? I mean, that other channel, when he put a video out saying that basically, oh yeah, no bother, Jamie, you're going to interview Tonali and go, oh, by the way, do you have a gambling addiction or out like that when you interview him?
Come and see your transactions, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to happen, is it?
It's like, yeah, you know what it is? Tonali looks like a very nice lad, but he also looks like a lad who could probably hide stuff very well. And he's not a mouthpiece, like, so, Roy Keane couldn't keep his mouth shut. So I think that would just come out, eventually. He seems like a very quiet lad, and I think he's clearly hit it well. But that's another story. That's in the past for me, and I don't know why they're bringing Tonali up again. To the Milan.
It's Milan, isn't it? It's the British press. It's what we do best. To be fair. It was always
it's ridiculous.
I'll tell you another reason why we're going to beat them tomorrow night. They literally turned up to St James's Park, walked around and went home in 5 minutes. Didn't train. Didn't do nothing. Too cold.
You joking?
Nope. Too cold for them. AC Milan have had enough of the weather. They're training, just a quick huddle, and they're gone back inside. literally spent 5 minutes at St James's Park. That's it.
Do you know what? I heard a story, right, years ago, right? I mean, people will know this. I personally wasn't alive when it happened, but when Newcastle won the trophy, the Fairs Cup?
Yeah.
Apparently, when they were lining up, I think they played a team. It could have been somebody called Uzbekistan or something like that. I can't remember what the team was, right? But apparently Joe Harvey and Bobby Moncur and McNamee were standing in a line. And apparently they looked over at the opposition team and it was snowing and it was freezing outside. And they looked over and they went, they're not up for this, Yeah. And apparently they were standing going like that in the change room. And apparently the players, but I think Moncur said this was true. He says, we looked over and we're going to beat these. And I think they won 5-1 or something.
Yeah, they did.
In the semi-final of the cup. Yeah, and it was something like that. And sometimes, it's like players just aren't up for a game, and maybe Milan might be like that because it will be freaking freezing. That's it'll be absolutely
Ubetsi Doza of Hungary.
Yeah, Uzbekistan, that's it. And apparently it was snowing outside and it was an absolute nightmare. And that doesn't look good, that mind, if you're just like not training because it's cold. oh, give up.
Well, that's
Honestly,
what,
yeah.
whether it was cold or they just didn't fancy it or whatever it was, they turned up at St James's Park tonight, literally spent 5 minutes and went back inside, back on the coach and left.
You know what you will see? Like, if we are interested in any AC Milan players, you'll see tomorrow whether they're going to be good enough to play in the Premiership. Now, we will see. I think Theo Hernandez is an absolutely quality player,
Yes.
but we'll see how good he is tomorrow when he plays in that game. But it's one of those, isn't it? It's just like I personally, by the sounds of it, what you've said there, I don't think it sounds like Milan are very confident tomorrow. Now, maybe it's because they're thinking what we did to PSG. Now, maybe they're thinking that, and possibly. And they have already played when we drew 0-0, and as much as they at times should have scored, it wasn't easy for them. So it's like
no, definitely
not. But we'll see. We'll see what they're like. They could turn up and just like say, "This is no this," you know.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, just pass us off the point. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to happen. But here we go.
No.
Sean Longstaff is in consideration, so is Callum Wilson for tomorrow, but we have a lot of information to digest with both players, is what Eddie Howe said. It was great to see them involved at the weekend, but we will need to make the right decision for the team. So that it's thrown up in the air whether them two are back or not back fully fit to start. I mean, no one wants to miss this game. I think because of injuries, Hernandez will be playing out of position. Yeah, we're going to come to injuries. So we're going to talk about the Newcastle team before we look at potentially what the Milan team could look like, because they have got some injuries as well. But obviously we are really struggling. I've struggled to pick the 11, so I've left it open for you guys in the chat as well, and Gary to have a little look at. This is what potentially could happen. So you've got Dubs is apparently carrying a shoulder injury, so will Karius come in? You've got Lascelles potentially injured, Dan Burn potentially back, but you didn't say anything in the press conference about that. So we could end up with Kraft or someone or Dummett there, to be honest with you. Then you've got the option of Miley or Longstaff, because I think it will be Miley who will drop to the bench. Nothing against the lad. He's been absolutely brilliant, but because he is only 17, he's played a lot of football. And in a big game like this, even though Mari did so well in PSG, I just think if Longstaff's fully fit, he comes in and Bruno and Joe Linton are there in the midfield as well. And then you've got the option of Isak or Wilson up front. Now, I literally can't pick the side. I've picked most of it. I just can't pick the rest of it.
Yeah.
Let's start with keepers. What's your inkling on the goalkeeper situation with everything that's been going around today?
From what I've heard, I think it's Karius.
Yeah.
I think Dubravka's bottled it. He's got a sore. Yeah, I've heard he's potentially he didn't want to be here anyway, and I've heard that Eddie Howe seemed to say we're not sure about Dubravka. That tells me straight away that Eddie's not convinced about him either. And I think Karius will start, and I don't think you'll see Dubravka in a black and white shirt again.
Wow, that's a big statement.
Yeah, I think I can't see it. I think after the last two games with him, apparently he's got an injury. I mean, seriously, he's only played 2 games, and he didn't save any of the shots anyway because he was the while past him anyway. So I don't know how he's picked an injury. But I've just got a feeling that might be it. I think they're making a move for a goalkeeper in January, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him again.
I mean, he could have injured his shoulder in training for all we know. We haven't seen.
Oh yeah, you don't know. You don't know. I'm just making an assumption here. What I've heard and what I believe and what I think, and he's been back 2 games and he's injured. Oh, give out. Nah, enough. Nah. Karius isn't the best goalkeeper in the world, but he's certainly not the worst. He's played in the biggest game in football, one of them. He's played in it, and yeah, he made a mistake, but apparently he had concussion that day. So it's like, come on. Yeah, Trippier will play definitely. Sure. You know what it is? I've got a sneaky feeling that Burns the surprise. The journalist said it a couple of days ago that they heard Byrne was back. I heard an interview with Dan Byrne practically saying that he was looking forward to the Sunderland game and he couldn't wait to play in it. Now, that was about a week ago, so that tells me Dan Byrne is well ahead of schedule. Now, I have no doubt Dan Byrne is fit enough to start tomorrow. He's a fit lad, no problem whatsoever. And I think Lascelles looked like practically half fit and shocking at the weekend anyway, so I've got a feeling Byrne will play. Tino will play. Longstaff will play. Bruno will play. Joe will play. Gordon will play. Miggy, and I'm going...
So Longstaff is fit enough to start from the start?
I think Longstaff comes back in tomorrow. No doubt. 100%. Miley's had a great time. He's going to be a star of the future, but we can't put too much in the 17-year-old lad. He's played a lot of football. And I think personally Longstaff will come back in. And I think Isak will start up front.
I think Isak will start up front as well, but obviously Wilson is fit, so I wanted to throw it out there for people to discuss Isak or Wilson. Some people have said in the chat, put Isak on the left, Gordon on the right, and put Wilson up front. So play all three of them. Problem with that is you haven't got a sub to bring on to make a difference then. That's the other thing. Very interesting stuff. With Milan, so there is no Rafael Leao, which everyone will be very, very, very happy.
Oh, is he definitely out, is he?
According to SofaScore, he's out.
I thought he was fit.
He's not in the team, according to SofaScore. So
that's a massive blow for them.
A few people on Twitter said he's missing from the game as well. The strange thing is, though, he's not in the injuries or suspension section, but he's not been put in the starting 11. Now, to me, you'd be in the starting 11 easily.
And I know he's had an injury, right? I know that I remember seeing the pictures a couple of weeks ago. Now, they didn't play him at the weekend because they were hoping he'd be all right for the Champions League. But then again, you're talking about, like you said, it is going to be a cold night. And if he has got an injury, that's going to make it worse. The weather's going to make it worse. So that'll be a massive boost if he's not playing. Because I don't think he's had a great tournament, but he's still quality. And he's still a threat.
Still
and Trippier's not on form at the minute. And I'm not fully confident with him running at Trippier at the minute. And so it'll be a big boost if he's not playing.
Well, you say that, but then there's Christian Pulisic who comes in his place. And he's a different player now. He's gone to Milan.
I'm not... I wanted Pulisic a couple of years ago, but I think he's dropped. I think he's dropped big time. And I'm not... Look, Nan may look, he'll score 35-year worldie tomorrow, but I'm not too worried about him.
I love it. But yeah. So their front three are Pulisic, Giroud, and that player I can't pronounce, Chikawazi, whoever you pronounce his name.
He's not a bad player.
He looked very good. He was very quick as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good
So Tino will have his hands full on that side. They play a 4-3-3, the same as us. They've got Musa, I can't even pronounce this lad's name, Regendes?
Yeah, I think he's from Norway or Denmark or something. I can't remember now. Don't know much about him, but
they've got Loftus
tidy player.
So they've got some players who were played in the Premier League. Loftus-Cheek, obviously Pulisic, Giroud. They've got Tomori as well, who knows the English weather very well. Hernandez is playing as a centre-back, according to this. And Alessandro Florenzi comes in. And they've got Calabera at right back. And then in goal, they've got Miggy, who is obviously a quality goalkeeper.
He's a good goalkeeper. Look, they've still got quality players, but I mean, I'm not convinced on the midfield. And as much as
then look how much they battered us in Milan. It was the same midfield three, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that was Newcastle away from home, and it's just it's been like this all season. With for some reason, when Joe Linton and Bruno play at St James's, they're just different animals. And I don't know, it's and then when they go away from home, it's different. And tomorrow you'll see the real Bruno and Joe Linton tomorrow. And I think we'll dominate midfield. And I think that's why Sean Longstaff will play, because when Longstaff, look, nothing against Miley, But when Longstaff plays, Joe Linton and Bruno seem to play better
And
enough.
actually have an extra
Yeah.
gear as well, because they know
Yeah.
they've got them behind them mopping
Yeah.
things up, don't they?
And that's nothing against Miley, because I think Miley, since he's come into the side, has been absolutely fantastic. And but Longstaff seems to be the person who just sits there and right, you two go and do your magic. And that's why I think Longstaff will play tomorrow. And I think we'll dominate midfield tomorrow. And
I hope so.
yeah, I do. I'm very confident because it's at home. If it had been away from home, it'd be different for me. I'd be talking very differently. But at home,
I think
no.
we'll all be
We've
after
been
the
brilliant at home this season. I mean, I think Stephen made a point before that he thinks it'll be a draw. He hopes he's wrong. And I think Stephen's going off, obviously, watching us turn up at his place terribly. But honestly, Stephen, we're a different team at home. I don't know why. We're just up. And you'd think you were watching a different first 11. It's ridiculous, and you'll probably say that tomorrow. And it shouldn't be happening, but it does.
It does. Right, a little bit on the referee. Wednesday's referee is Danny McKeely. He's Dutch, as are all the officials, including VAR. But he has a history with PSG, apparently. He officiated PSG's defeat via Real Madrid in 2022, and the PSG president, Nasser, went on a rampage through the balls of Santiago Bernabeu, incensed by yet another collapse in the Champions League. He was seen shouting through the corridors of the Bernabeu, supposedly on the hunt for McKeely's dressing room. Unable to find him, he burst into the office of Real Madrid delegate Malaga Deliva, threatening to kill an employee who recorded the whole incident. The Qatari was then escorted away by his own bodyguard to prevent further escalation. I hope he's not at the game. I mean, he won't be at all.
You know what it is? Football's gone mental at the minute, because that incident the day where the owner punched the referee in Turkey is just
shocking.
I mean, it's like, what the hell is going on? The world's gone mad. Honestly, the world has gone nuts. You know what it is? As much as we used to go on about the game years ago, and you had Bremner and people like that, who, when would you ever see an owner running onto a pitch and punching a referee? It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's absolutely insane. And I think the closest thing I've ever heard of that is when Duncan Ferguson went into Hullett's office, kicked the door for the Sunderland game.
Shearer was on his way there, wasn't he? And Duncan Ferguson was already in there.
I'll never forget that. Shearer said he had a show after the game. He says, I'm going to go and see Rude, because obviously I wasn't happy. He says, when I turned up, the door was on the floor. Ferguson had beat him to it. Yeah, I thought, honestly. God.
Tend to draw a lot against English opposition, but Newcastle at home should have too much tomorrow night. We'll see. I mean, I've got a very good feeling about tomorrow night, but there we go. Eddie Howe also said at his press conference that he was sorry that we couldn't attack the Champions League as they wanted to, due to not having a fully fit squad all the time. I mean, we've attacked it as best as we possibly can. I'm proud of our achievements in the Champions League.
Look, I've got me issues with the Premier League this season, especially away from home. But I don't think, not once in the Champions League have I sat there and thought, oh, we were absolutely terrible. Milan, it was our first game for years. We defended well. It was the occasion, but we got there. PSG was phenomenal. Dortmund, over both legs. We had chances. We didn't play to our ability, but Dortmund are a very good organised side.
Oh, they were brilliant.
And PSG away from home were bloody unlucky with a dodgy penalty. So I cannot have any complaint. I just hope they go out tomorrow. And if PSG win. But I hope we go out tomorrow, win the game, and we're going to hold our hands up high. That means we're in the Europa League, and we're going to hold our hands up high and go, we'll give it our best shot. It was a hard group, and it just shows that, we can compete with these teams. And it's been a bit of a ride, I'll give it that. Because I remember when the draw was
beat PSG in a group game 4-1.
No.
At all. I'm just trying to bring the groups up again to have a look at it. So basically, the group stage, as it is for us, we have to avoid defeat if we want to qualify for. Do you know what it is? It takes me back to that night with Bobby Robson and Craig Bellamy.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It
very
takes
similar.
me all the way back to that. Destiny is in our own hands. If we lose, we're completely out of Europe.
Yeah,
Get a
go
point,
on.
we're still in Europe. If we beat them, there's a very good chance we'll go through because PSG have got to beat Dortmund. So it's all in our own hands.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mental.
Look, regardless, if PSG score 3 goals in the first 10 minutes, right? Regardless, we've still got Europa League to go. There's still something to fight for, and Milan have got the same thing, right? But
they have to go for it. They have to beat us.
Yeah, they have to go. They have to beat with, and it's not easy. Look, I've watched some great teams. It's not easy beating Newcastle at St James's.
No,
I mean, I'm trying to remember. Was it Arsenal, the last team that beat us at St James's?
Liverpool.
Oh, I didn't class that. They were lucky as shit. Like where we were, like, where I thought, we deserve to get Arsenal. Yeah.
2-0 Arsenal game. I don't want to talk about that.
Look, that Liverpool game, I still can't believe we lost that game to this day. I still 75 minutes, 1-0 up, and then Darwin Núñez comes on with 2 bloody finishes out of nowhere. Honestly, it's just like, I still don't know we lost that game. But it's, look, here's what it is. I'm quietly confident, like I said before.
But the good thing about the group situation for us is that it opens the game up because Milan have to beat us. That means at some stage in the game, they're going to have to come at us. And then that plays into our strengths on the counter-attack.
No, but it's midfield for me. And look, Giroud, yeah, he was a good player for Arsenal and years ago, but it's not the same old Giroud that we watched 4 years ago.
He's not running in channels.
No, as he held. Now, if whoever plays at centre back, surely our centre backs can cope with him, right? I'm no disrespect to him, but I'm not like sitting here shitting myself thinking, oh Christ, they're up against Mbappe here. You know what I mean? It's like, so I think it's a midfield battle, and whoever dominates midfield tomorrow will win the game. And that's why I'm confident, because I think our midfielders will turn up, and I think we'll turn up big time.
I agree. I honestly think they will.
I do. I think our 2 Brazilians will turn up tomorrow, and it's Bruno wants to play in the Champions League. He said it since the minute he come here, and Joe Linton's got points to prove as well. That's the way he plays, and I just think the two of them will turn up, and because it's at St James's, they'll turn. And I mean, I'll put it out now that if Newcastle win the game, don't be surprised if Bruno or Joe Linton's man the match.
Yeah,
don't be shocked. He'll be one of them. Well,
no, I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Real Madrid are getting beat.
Of who?
Berlin.
I think haven't they already qualified?
They're through anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a very good chance that they've put out probably an absolute shocking team, and that's why they're getting beat.
Oh, yeah.
But there we go. A little bit of transfer news from the press conference as well. I've saved till last. Asked about Calvin Phillips being a done deal, he's denied it. But that's just what he does, isn't it?
Oh, well, he's not going to come out and say, yeah, we've signed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, anybody who listens to Eddie Howe regarding transfers needs to give their head a shake, because I remember when Isak signed and he got off a plane and Eddie Howe had no knowledge of him signing. That gave me, he had no nothing. You know what I mean? He was in Newcastle and Eddie claimed he knew nothing. The next day he signed. Eddie lies about transfers. So I've heard it off very, very reliable people that said Gordon and Barnes had signed, that Calvin Phillips is a done deal. Now,
very interesting.
Just that's what I've heard. So,
and he's denied it. He's already bought a house.
That's it, isn't it? A lot of
But
transfers can fall through.
Well, exactly.
But
But we don't know what the deal is yet, though, do we? We don't know if it's a 6
Well, it
month
could be a loan.
obligation to buy. We don't know if it's just a straight
Mm-hmm.
6 month loan. We don't know if there's an option to buy in there. We don't know anything.
No,
All we know
no.
is that we're very interested in him. But like you said, you've heard from people that it's done and done, but we don't know what's done and done, do we? We don't know what the
No idea. They don't know either. They don't know the deal. But what they do know is the deal's done. He's coming. Now, things can change. It can. Stuff can change. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Jared Bowen thought he was coming to Newcastle and that slipped away. But I think when Rodri got suspended and Calvin Phillips didn't play at Villa, that's a clear sign that Calvin Phillips is on his way, because Newcastle have clearly said to Man City, look, we can't risk an injury. We need him fit. We need him healthy. And Pep Guardiola come out defend Phillips the other day, saying he felt sorry for him and stuff like that. And he was trying to justify why he wasn't playing him, and then he said, "I'd like him to stay, but you just never know." And it's one of those. But I've heard people say he's going to sign on January the 1st. I mean, New Year's Day. I'd be shocked at that. But
he might have already signed a contract for all we know. That's pre-signed.
No idea.
Anyway, we don't know, do we?
But apparently he wants the move because he's looking ahead to England as well. And obviously England are in the tournament and he needs to play games. And I know Southgate's in that and he'll pick a wee once, but he's still got in the back of his mind that I need to play football.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get the games at Man City. Man City are too good. And that's no disrespect to him. They're just too good where they are. De Bruyne's coming back soon, so he's got even less chance soon. He can't get in, and De Bruyne's not even there. De Bruyne's been missing for months, and he can't get in.
Different style player, though.
I know it's a different style, but
he's not in says a lot to me. And the fact that he played Silva as a defensive midfield player against... who was it against? I can't remember who was against, but he played Silva as a defensive midfielder and Calvin Phillips on the bench. That said to me he was never getting a game.
But I mean, it was Villa the other week where Rodri was suspended and Phillips didn't play.
Yeah,
I don't think he did anyway. And Villa away. You need hard work and tight footballers away to Villa, and I don't think he played. And he didn't come on against Luton. You saw him sitting on the bench, and look, could change, could be absolute rubbish. But like I said, the same people who said Gordon and Barnes were, the same people have came out and said it's done. So, see what it is.
Does anyone feel like Phillips would improve the team and give us something we're lacking? I think he will. Not only improve the team, he improves the squad and he improves the options, especially away from home, like we mentioned. We need a defensive midfielder, don't we?
Look, he's not the world-class name that the club will pin their hopes on challenging for everything in 2 years' time. But what he is, I've been crying out for 6 for 2 years now. And I just think we need somebody who can just sit, and we need some strength away from home. And look, he's a northern lad, right?
That's why he'll come to us, because he doesn't want to go away from his family. It's the reason why he signed for Man City instead of going down to London, because he wanted to be near his family, which is why he was never going to go to Juventus. All this stuff about Juventus being interested and stuff like that was never going to happen.
Well, we just need to get the Calvin Phillips that played for England in that tournament, like played every game, played in the final. We need that Phillips. And you know what it is? There's nobody better than Eddie Howe to get a player playing again, getting a player back up to where he is. And Eddie's brilliant at it. And if he does sign, then I have no doubt within the space of probably a month, Phillips will be the player he was a year and a half ago, because he'll be fit anyway. Pep will not have unfit players in his team.
No,
so
he'll be fit, but he won't be Eddie fit, but that'll come.
No, that'll come. And I mean, look, regarding whether that's a loan, it could be. But I'd be very shocked if Newcastle are going to loan Phillips for 6 months to get him up to scratch and then just get rid of him. I just don't see that being a Newcastle thing. And
depends on the price with his age, 27 now.
Well, do you know what it is?
I get what you're saying. I just, we are desperate. That's the reason why I think it could just be a 6-month loan, because we are desperate at this point to get someone through the door.
Look, football's corrupt as hell, man. And the American owners stick together in the Premiership, and we've both got Middle Eastern owners, and it's just what it is. And I think we will end up with him, and I think he'll do a good job. I really do.
I do as well. Right. Score predictions in, and then I'm going to have a little rant. Just a tiny one. But,
a rant?
Yeah, a little rant. Well, not a rant, like a G up. Get the war paint on. What do you think the score is going to be?
3-1.
Oh, wow. I'm confident, but I'm not that confident.
Well, I'm very confident. I'm just something's telling me that I think we'll let a goal in, because we're still not like, I'm good Botman still, but I don't know. Actually, I think Isak's going to turn up tomorrow, and you know what it is? If we get going, we proved it against PSG. If we get going, if Gordon's on his game and Miggy's on his game, we're going to cause problems. And I think they will. I think they'll be up for it, mate. Big time. And 3-1.
I think there's going to be a bit of cat and mouse in this game.
See?
I think AC Milan are going to try and stay in it, and then attack in the last 20 minutes to try and get a winner. We're going to try and go for it, realise we didn't get the goal. We're going to be a bit squeaky bum time as we do, and then we'll nick it 1-0. I think it's going to be one of those edge-of-the-seat night moments where every single attack is going to make us terrified when they're attacking us, and then when we're attacking them, we're going to be on the edge of our seats.
The one thing I would look, I've got my opinion on it. I think the PSG crowd will turn up, but we need the PSG crowd tomorrow, not the Dortmund crowd. We need the PSG crowd.
I'm not there. I'm not there.
So we need, but I think the PSG crowd will turn up tomorrow because there's loads riding on it. So,
Copenhagen are winning, so Man United are out. That means they're out of Europe.
Yeah, because they're not beating Bayern Munich. They need to beat Bayern Munich. The draw 0-0 I've got on the telly at the minute. You can clearly look, Bayern aren't going out all guns blazing, right? But you can clearly tell they want to put Man United.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like.
There's a big question, very quick before we finish. How does the fatigue disappear when you're playing at St James's Park? It's very simple.
That's a great question, Stephen.
It is a great question. It's very simple. It's our pitch. We know the slope. We know how to control games, which means we don't use as much energy. We know when to put into it. And that crowd just gives you a lift. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, look, it's like, Stephen, I use an example of when Everton survived relegation, when they played at Goodison. The crowd gave them that lift they needed.
Yeah.
And look, think what you want about Everton fans, right? But when they were fighting relegation, Everton fans turned up big time at home. From April to May or whatever it was, they turned up big time. I remember when they played Chelsea at home and Richarlison scored, and when he threw the flare in the crowd, that was loud that day. And that's what happens with these players. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. The players shouldn't need the crowd to G them up for an away game, but that is what's happening right now. And
it does give
when Newcastle have got their backs to the wall at St James's, the crowd are rowing them on, and it gives them that extra spring in their step. And that tells me that that's what I said the other day. Maybe there's a lack of leadership with injuries in that team at the minute away from home, i.e. Dan Burns, Sven Botman missing. Because it's at home, they're a different team. And who could I use in examples? Aston Villa are very similar. They are an absolute animal at home and a bit hit and miss away from home. And doesn't make you champions, but it's really frustrating, to be honest.
It's really strange to put your finger on it, because how come your home form's so much better than your away form? It's for every team in the Premier League. You're playing on a pitch. They're literally the same lengths. The goals are the same size. Nothing changes. It's just a blade of grass. but there's just something special about playing at home when you've got that crowd. And that's what
Yeah,
it's like
if you've got-
every Premier League ground, isn't it? It's not just ours. It's like every Premier League ground has it. When you go to away, the crowd are up for it. The players feed off it, and they just get that little extra half a yard, don't they?
Yeah, I think it stands out with the mid-table teams more than anything because Brentford's a nightmare to go to.
Yeah, Brentford,
And
yeah.
Brentford are an
Wolves.
awful side to go to.
West Ham used to be. It's not as
Yeah,
bad
West
now.
Ham's not as bad now. The West Ham fans will admit that.
Everton, obviously, it's hard to go to.
Everton. Look at Luton. Luton are a prime example. Luton, that stadium's awful to play at. But they're gonna, you know what it is? Luton have got a better chance than anybody, and I think it's personally because of their stadium and their home support. I really do. And but it happens, and look, stays what it is. Crowds lift the players. Yeah. When the crowd's on that game, they give them that extra spring in their step, and some teams can cope without it, i.e. Man City, Man United years ago, they didn't need it. They had that mentality anyway. At the minute, our team needs the crowd. And it's a shame. They didn't need them last year, but they need them this year. And there's what it is. What do you say?
We've always needed the crowd, always needed it. But sometimes just playing at home, it's your pitch, you know it very well. The slope is an advantage. We know it very well. But the last thing I want to say is that was what Eddie Howe said in his press conference, and we really need everyone there. On the crowd itself, they've been with us for the season. We are going to need that. Every voice, every person can make a difference for us. We need to create an atmosphere. The supporters have never let us down at home. They have really driven us on. In tight games, they've really given us the ability to carry on. We're going to need that again. So everyone who's listening, everyone watches this back, if you're going to the game tomorrow, make noise. I don't care if you don't know the words to the songs or whatever it is. You just scream, you shout, you get behind the lads. You do everything you possibly can to give that extra boost, because we are going to need it tomorrow. And we need that atmosphere from PSG. We need that atmosphere. Because that was the second best atmosphere I've ever been in at St James's Park. So we need AC Milan to be third or second above PSG. You're not going to beat Man United 5-0. It's never going to happen. Not for me. But we need you all. Scarves, singing, the lot. Do it. Do us proud. And let's do these bastards.
It was Barcelona for me.
I didn't get to go to that one, unfortunately.
I'll tell you what, if anybody in the chat can remember Barcelona 3-2 in the Champions League, my God, what a bloody noise.
I felt it through the TV, but it's different being there, isn't it?
It was, but honestly, the 36,000 attendance crowd, that's what it was, just like the 5-0. And oh my God, what a noise. What a noise that was that night. Yeah. And unbelievable.
Bring the noise tomorrow night. Bring it. Right, that's it from us. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I've got a bit of a problem again because my bike is fucking broke again. I shit you not. Right? So I'm getting a lift into work tomorrow, but the problem is the person who's giving me a lift leaves at 4 o'clock, which means I've still got to get home somehow because I finished at 7. So that's going to be very interesting. So I will do my best to get back home for the start of the game. I'll do my best, guys, because I am doing a watch along tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So please try and tune in if you can, and if I can actually make it on time, you will know.
I'm the same. I'm rushing back for kickoff.
Rushing back as well, exactly. What a nightmare, man! I can't believe it. Right. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. The usual stuff. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diacro. Link is in the description. 20% off for every single person who watches this show. Go and buy something and support a lovely family who could use the help. Probably don't need the help. I'm just saying that. Just buy something. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. Take care.